Now, I know you must have been following sports. It's also part of your stuff. You have passion for growth of sports in the country right there. During your reign, really enjoy a whole lot of innovations when it comes to driving sports in Nigeria. But tell us, you've been monitoring from the sideline. How have you been able to appraise sports since you left in Nigeria?
Well, it has been up and down. A pronouncement today will affect so many things. And we thought by now we should have a stable environment to run sports. Unfortunately, when we left, it has been topsy-turvy. That is, today is good, tomorrow is another thing. And I've always been one of those that believe that without a genuine working environment, you can never get anything right. It is not enough for a minister to come in today with his own style and do what he thinks is right. There should have been a laid out policy that can guide whoever that is coming in, so much that sports is not run by the dictates of the man on seat. I mean, it causes policy somersault. It causes sometimes going backwards, even though we have attained some milestone. And then the man insists he's in charge and he wants to do it his own style. So I think the bedeviling issue on sports is lack of policy, the lack of an enabling environment, the lack of a clear-cut defined route that we seem to always stumble instead of running steady.
So we don't have a clear cut, no direction.
No direction.
Now I know vividly when you were in the office, you tried to also fast track the bill of Nigerian football to be passed and other notable things containing the document. But just last week, the Senate also, through the Chairman's Committee on Senate Committee on Sports, Obina Ogba, who has been trying to work around the clock to ensure that this bill is being passed. I know we must say kudos to you because you started the movement. But now let's talk about Nigerian sports. The Federation's election is just around the corner. We're coming up 13th of June 2017. Your appraiser, we want to look at the appraiser of some of these federation presidents, virtually everyone except Nigeria Football Federation, because they are operating on their own climb. Let's talk about federations. How will you appraise them?
Ideally, the federations should be the engine room of driving sports. Ideally, the federations should have a program that can fast track the growth of the individual sports. Unfortunately, like I said, we seem to be tied down to government. And when we're all tied down to government, interference will come. Different style of those in charge will have to be manifest. And before you know it, the sports, rather than being the engine room of driving their own sports and their federations, becomes subservient to the man in charge. And that invariably affects the development of the various sports. Ideally, sports federations should be autonomous. Ideally, they should have their own rules guiding how they operate. Now, when you exonerate football from other federations, it doesn't look nice. If football has been able to get to where they are on the promise or on the premise that they're able to drive their own federation without much of government interference, similarly, other federations should have been able to key in. They have the same law establishing them. They have the same guidelines establishing them. So they should be able to drive their federations without necessarily waiting for government to give directives. The board's composition of each federation is clearly outlined. The tenure of each federation is clearly outlined. But you see, whenever there's going to be an election to succeed the previous board, we have a lot of issues. Like I said, tied down to lack of having a good template, tied down to not having an enabling law, tied down to a minister that may be overbearing. So when you have all these factors combined, definitely every election, instead of being to be a smooth transition or a smooth continuity, it becomes a subject of rancor. And at the end, we spend the first 2 years of the new administration trying to address issues that arose from elections. You see wranglings, you see backbiting, and instead of the federation to drive the sports, they end up trying to sort out the election issue that has brought in a new federation. Some federations spend years, either in court or not recognizing who is on seat or not recognizing members of the board, and it drives our sports backward. Because the focus should not be on the leadership. The focus ideally should be on those athletes that are ready, willing to put in their best for Nigeria. Unfortunately, without a good leadership, of course, the body cannot thrive.